To be a successful person, no matter in what area, you need to have certain qualities that are not always written about in a resume. Today, we'll consider 5 key skills of a modern person and explain why we decided to distinguish them among many others. Ability to learn. Remember how happy you were when you graduated from high school and then university, being confident that finally you would no longer have to sit at a school desk. And it may be that you will not do that literally, but the reality is that you should never stop learning. Not only when you are a student at school or university. The world is constantly changing, as well as different technologies and any other instruments used by any kind of specialists. To keep up to date, you need to constantly take additional training courses. Moreover, we live in an era when many professions are becoming a thing of the past, but others come to replace them, often combining several of them at once. That is why we must always be ready for the need for retraining. Forget the phrase "it's too late for me to study." Let us give you an example. Today, bioengineering is gaining popularity, a specialty that combines the other two. A doctor and an engineer. Presently, there are universities that allow students to master bioengineering and bioinformatics. For example, in Russia, these are MSU, MIPT Bioinformatics Institute in St. Petersburg and Tyumen State University. But for those who had previously been educated solely in the field of medicine or engineering, but wanted to connect their lives with bioengineering, it was necessary to complete their education by filling in the gaps in the other field. Besides all that, a person who likes and knows how to learn can also study foreign languages, thanks to which he will be more in demand in the market. And basically, a person who is capable of constant learning will all the time learn something new, make personal growth, which is also useful in life in general. It will always be interesting to have any kind of conversation with such a person. It also boosts self-confidence, which is important both for building a career and making new acquaintances. Ability to speak. Remember who taught you the art of public speaking. Over the past 10 years, the art to speak convincingly and beautifully has virtually become a synonym to the word success. We are all more likely to be more willing to listen to a person who speaks clearly, intelligently, and confidently than to a person speaking quietly and stammering. To make the audience believe you, we must trust ourselves 100%. There are 4 rules in a modern rhetoric that every speaker who wants to be heard sticks to. The rule of turning a speech into a dialogue. The rule of helping an audience to orient and move through a speech, the rule of expressiveness of a speech, and the rule of pleasure. First rule implies that verbal communication become effective only if its participants take part in the dialogue, not being restricted to listening to the speaker. It helps to connect with an audience as well as evoke their thoughts on any given subject. The second rule requires that an audience is capable of orienting in the speaker's speech. To achieve this, a speaker must use words indicating an order inside a sentence, such as first of all, firstly, etc., and resuming words like therefore, thus, as well as connecting sentences. Let's move on to the next point. The rule of expressiveness speaks for itself. A speaker must know how to evoke emotions in the audience. The rule of pleasure implies that a speech will be effective as soon as a speaker himself enjoys it, since an audience actually feels everything. You can study the oratory by yourself. The book Speak Like Churchill, Stand Like Lincoln, 21 Secrets of History's Greatest Speakers by James C. Humes reveals the main methods and techniques of it, like a pause should begin any speech. If you watch famous speakers' TED Talks, you'll probably notice that almost any of them holds pauses. Watching speeches of famous speakers will help you to become a successful speaker yourself. To do that, you need not only to watch public speeches but also note for yourself what tricks a given speaker uses in his speech. For instance, when Amanda Palmer had her TED Talk in 2013, the video with her talk gained million views within the first day. She used an element of surprise by putting a plastic box on the stage and showing a chamomile to the viewers. She also held pauses, thanks to which she managed to keep everyone's attention. Manish Vasudevan, in his 2017 Pull Less Band More lecture, used the technique of a rhetorical question in addition to holding pauses, starting his speech with a phrase. Have you ever had problems? It's quite obvious that every person will think of some of his problems which will trigger emotions. Be creative. It's that simple. Constant brain training in search of non-standard solutions can increase the value of a person as a specialist. The higher the level of creativity, the more original features its possessor has, which means that such a person can stand out from the mass of competitors and find his unique style. Also, unconventional thinking is able to lead us to creating something unusual and unique, some product or service that many have been missing. Actually, creative people have always existed, and it was they who made history. For example, Einstein didn't go against the rules of scientific thinking, but at the same time he considered the problem from a different angle. Before him it had been considered that the constant is the speed of time, but Einstein assumed that the constant is the speed of light. The scientist changed the paradigm of thinking, asking himself what if everything works in the opposite way. Nowadays there is plenty of literature and creativity, reading of which will help you develop this ability. Accidental Genius by Mark Levy, The Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, Change by Design by Tim Brown. Ability to work as a part of a team and having emotional intelligence. Whatever abilities you have, no one could build an empire without a team. Key to success here is well-coordinated work. Ability to work in a team is a precious skill not only for the employee, but also and especially for those who want to start their own business. Steve Jobs purchased a small computer company in the 90s. The office was located in a building with 3 separate facilities, but Jobs couldn't find his place until he figured out how he could place all the employees in one place. When he managed to find a single place where they could communicate and solve common tasks, the effectiveness of the company increased. Colleagues felt like a single unit ready to accomplish great things. Well-coordinated work is possible when participants feel secure in a team. Google once made a research that showed that power comes not at all from personal selection, but from the feeling of psychological comfort that each team member experiences. Emotional intelligence is the ability of a person to understand and distinguish emotions, both his own and others, to understand intentions, motives, and desires of people, ability to control his own emotions. High emotional intelligence can affect a person's academic and work success, allows him to demonstrate leadership qualities and find contact with people. It is thanks to a highly developed emotional intelligence that it is possible to create harmonious relationships with colleagues and subordinates. A leader who is good at distinguishing emotions can become a truly amazing leader who is ready to carry the whole team. Sport discipline and the desire for a healthy lifestyle. Apart from the fact that sport improves health, it also makes you more disciplined. Regular sports exercises help to develop habits. At the beginning, it's just a habit to exercise, but after that, other habits are formed that are no less useful. Also, sport helps to feel more energetic, and feeling of an energy burst makes a person ready to create. Sports strengthens self-confidence and self-belief, raises self-esteem, and develops willpower. Successful and rich people from the Forbes list are also necessarily involved in sports. The most elite sport is considered to be tennis, the love of which unites the following billionaires: Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and the head of Microsoft, Bill Gates. The latter even took part in major charity matches with tennis superstars several times. As for the younger generation of rich people, surfing is very popular among them. For example, Mark Zuckerberg is an enthusiast of waves riding in Hawaii, whereas Larry Page, a co-founder of Google, is into kitesurfing. If a person is passionate about sports, then it's most likely that he also follows a diet and leads a healthy life in general. Where the strong health is, there is also success, as a healthy person always has energy to do what he loves most. These were the 5 main qualities for success. What would you add to this list?